I'm Dr. Kimberly Manning.
And this is Dr. Ashley McMullen. And you're listening to the Human Doctor Podcast, where we explore the human side of medicine, along with teaching, living, learning, and all things in between. Using the power of storytelling, conversation, and connectedness.
Hey, we're two dope academic internal medicine doctors, but we ain't your doctors. So if you perceive anything we say here as medical advice, no, it ain't that. Also, the things we say, they only reflect our brilliant Black woman magic mind and not our employers.
You could have been anywhere, y'all, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate you. Let's go.
So how are you? How is Mahalia?
Mahalia and I have come to an agreement for the summer that we are just going to two-strand twist it up the whole time. I'm taking advantage of the extra time that I have this summer to do a lot of workouts. Unlike some people in this call, I sweat pretty profusely when I work out, including in my scalp. So it is best for both me and Mahalia for her to stay tucked.
That is like such a mercy that I never appreciated. Like how I'm not a person who sweats. I just don't sweat a lot. I get a little film over me, but like I can get my hair done and, do a whole workout, run a half marathon, and like I don't get anything damp in my scalp. And I can't even. The thought of that is horrifying to me, actually. When I see people with their hair wringing wet at the end, particularly Black women and people who have like 4B and greater curl patterns. I'm like, what do you do? What you do is you wear a protective style.
Exactly. That is what you do.
I heard that. Well, Jules had a brief hiatus under braids, but she is just not a person that could be held down like that. She's just like, look, you're gonna have to give us free. You're gonna have to let me out of here. So my stylist, Sakina, she was very proud that I lasted 2.5 weeks.
I was about to say, I know you did it as long as you could.
Yeah, but I think I'm a person who needs to put a comb through my head from the scalp down to the end of my hair. Like it was kind of making me crazy, but I don't know. I just admire the look so much. So I don't know. At some point it'll happen again, but
yeah.
Well, it was fun. It was
a dope look for sure.
I appreciate it. I had the little young dudes looking in my direction, like, "What's up, auntie?" But it wasn't like the "What's up, auntie?" Like, where can they hold my groceries for me? It was like, "What's up, auntie?" Extra bread. So I still got it. You know what I'm saying?
No, we didn't doubt you, sis. We never did.
So you know what? I need to shout something out, a very shameless plug. Our applications are now open for our virtual visiting mini clerkship that we have for the Emory Department of Medicine through our RISE initiatives. Our RISE initiatives is our commitment to building a diverse team of physicians. And given that mission, we have this 2-week virtual mini clerkship that invites individuals from historically excluded groups to join us for 2 weeks. And you know what? You work intimately with me. I get all up in your business.
Ooh.
I do mock interviews. You meet a whole bunch of faculty. So if you are a 4th-year medical student applying to medicine this year, and you come from a historically excluded background, you should check us out. It's on our website.
That's awesome. I want to sign up and work with you.
I know, because you know what? It is really dope. I wish when I'm doing it, I wish that I could have had that as a student.
Yeah, I did a similar program as a 4th-year medical student, not at Emory, but elsewhere. Emory did not give me a residency interview. I want to mention that.
Well, that makes 2 of us. That makes 2 of us, ma'am. So, I mean, I can't even, I didn't get an interview for medical school or residency at Emory. So when I made professor, I wanted to be like,
okay. Yes. But, I did a similar program and it was really, really phenomenal. So for folks who are looking to get a little experience outside their normal milieu and, want to meet some folks at a potential spot for residency, take advantage of these types of programs.
You do. And also we recognize that travel can be oppressive for people and not an option. So I would say one of the advantages to this is that it's only 2 weeks. It's virtual, so you do not have to leave your home. And because it is virtual and non-patient care facing, some of the hoops that one must jump through to get an away rotation are not required for this. Yeah, so go on and check that out. Drop that in the show notes.
We certainly will. Shout out to Catherine. What
Yeah,
a
shout out to Catherine. She's the bomb.
she's
How are you feeling today on a scale of 1 to 5?
probably, I would say about a 4. And
Okay.
I anticipate that'll gradually go up. You know, it's Monday. I feel like I'm already behind on stuff. And so I feel like just a little bit unnecessarily stressed for that, which happens for me some Monday mornings. But otherwise, I feel great. Just, I'm so proud of myself. I have to mention this again. I utilized Facebook Marketplace for the first time over the
Okay.
weekend because I've been back and forth, hemming and hawing over getting an indoor cycling bike, so I can do my little cross training. And I was going to just purchase a cheap kind of knockoff brand from, I don't know, Amazon or something. But I was like, let me just see what's out there. And literally the first thing that came up was this awesome bike that had all these great reviews. That's normally like $1,000. They were selling for like a fraction of that, 10
Okay.
minutes away from me. So
What? And it was not a fluke.
it was not a fluke. The
You did
people
not
weren't
get over
crazy.
there and it was like a 3D printed.
Right. I did bring some backup with me just in case things got a little squirrely,
Oh,
but it was great.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good stuff. I like the hustle. I
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
hustle.
yeah, no. But yeah, so that was my adventure for the weekend. Now makes me a 4.5.
Now makes you a 4.5. Did you get on your bike yet?
Yes, I did this
Okay.
morning.
And it was a good workout?
It was great.
That's great. I'm proud of you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
good stuff, man. Get your fitness on. Do all the things.
Yeah. What about you?
I had a very full weekend doing lots of great things for connection. I will rapidly run through them. And I'm saying this because I think that if you're a busy person, human connection, you have to be really intentional about it. You do need time to yourself, but you need to be really intentional about it. So I had a date night with the BHE, the best husband ever. That
My
was fun.
God.
We had
Love it.
oysters. That was awesome.
Oh, you
And
love oysters.
I do love oysters. So that was great. We had raw and roasted, all the best. And then I had lunch bunch with Leslie Miller, my favorite Hep C expert. She's amazing and a good friend. And then I went to support a friend whose daughter is launching a makeup business, and that was fun. And then I went home and I sat by myself on the couch and watched some Netflix, um,
Mm.
which was my solitary activity. And then on Sunday, I went bike riding on the Beltline, the Atlanta Beltline with the BHE. We had brunch and it was fun. And then somehow I got talked into going to a concert with my friend Michelle. And yeah, but I'm not going to even say whose concert it
I also
was.
see you have to say
I'm
which
not going
concert
to
it
say it.
was.
No, because you will judge me. I'm going to text it to you. Did you
Oh,
see it?
oh my God. Yes, yes. Okay.
I will not say more.
If folks are curious, reach out to me directly. I will not put you on blast on this live podcast.
Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. But,
Mm.
I have
I'm
to
proud
say
of
it.
you.
It
So
was fun.
what does that bring you to on a scale of 1 to 5 on this morning?
It brings me to a 4.9. And
Mm,
the only reason I'm not a 5 is because I want to leave room
mm,
to get to the 5. But my husband said something to me over the weekend that has been in my head all weekend. And he said, we've built a pretty good life together, haven't we?
mm,
He just randomly said that while we were having coffee. And that is what I've been thinking about. Like, me and a lot of people in my world have built a good life together. I like my life.
mm.
And I feel like this weekend was a weekend filled with ordinary, extraordinary little things and people. And it's good to build a good life.
Mm.
We could just end the podcast right
I know. I was like, and
now.
scene. But no, no,
Okay.
no, no. That is not why we are here. I mean, it is part of why we are here, but there's more. There's more to be gleaned from this beautiful life and beautiful wisdom that you hold. And I, for one, am always excited to have a front row seat to your incredible storytelling.
Aw, thank you.
So, yes. All right, sis. What's the what?
I was loving all that time you were giving me because I was really trying to find
I saw the I
the
saw the
word.
the gears turning.
I, I'm torn between think and overthink. So I think I'm gonna go with overthink.
Yeah, I was like, don't overthink it. Just choose one.
Yeah. Don't overthink it. I'm not going to overthink which word, right?
Yes.
So
Overthink.
overthink.
Okay.
What is overthink? The reason I'm thinking about this word is because I think that there are points in our lives where we learn to overthink things, and there's stages in our life where we don't even realize that something could we could fail at something, that it could go poorly, right? It's kind of like how they tell you that bumblebees should not be able to fly based upon the size of their wings and physics and all the things, but nobody told the bumblebee, so it flies. So I sometimes look back with nostalgia at times in my life where I was like the bumblebee. So I'm going to take you back to Tuskegee University, and we are going to pick up where we left off from after I was told that I would not be pledging Delta
Mhm.
that semester way back when. So I was a sophomore in college. In my head, had this whole plan. I was like, okay, I'm going to get a 4.0 my freshman year, and I'm going to pledge Delta my second year. In my sophomore year, I tried to pledge Delta, as y'all remember, and I was not among the individuals who were selected during that semester. And, the thing is, it did not even occur to me that this meant that I was, not good enough or anything. That just isn't how I was wired.
Mm.
I just thought it wasn't my time. I just thought, okay. So the funny thing about all of this is that my plan included pledging Delta as a sophomore and running for Miss Tuskegee University as a junior. But if I didn't make Delta as a sophomore, that meant I was going to be trying to pledge Delta as a junior. So that messed up my plan. So I go to the student activities office and I go to look at the criteria that one needs to run for Miss Tuskegee University. To be clear, I am not a pageant girl. I have not had no big experience with pageants. The only thing is that somebody told me that Miss Tuskegee University comes with a scholarship and free room and board and all of this stuff. And I was like, yo, this sounds like a great deal. And a work study check. I'm like, man, I got to figure this
Mm.
out. So that's all I had my sights on. I had my sights on how I had planned to pay part of my tuition for a year with this. So I look at the thing and it says that you need whatever number of hours. And because I had taken some AP classes as a senior and a junior in high school, I had college credits and I'd gone to summer school and done some summer school courses. And by 1 hour, I had enough hours
Mm.
to run for Miss Tuskegee University. Now, I want to be very clear at a historically Black college, being the campus queen is a very, very coveted position. It's a big deal, especially at a school with as much history as Tuskegee. The campus queen gets a lot of perks. I already told you about some of the things that you get in terms of like your academic and your financial support, but you also are in Ebony magazine every time there's a game somewhere. The
Oh,
alumni
snap.
association in that city,
Mm-hmm.
they set you out. I mean, they put you in a suite. They roll out the red carpet. It is really something. I mean, I had a parking space on campus as Miss Tuskegee. But here I am, a sophomore, and I learned that in the history of this role on campus, never in the Everest of Evers, from 1881 when we opened to 1990 when I was in this office looking this up, had they ever had a sophomore win Miss Tuskegee, because it is a role that a junior runs for, and then it is the campus queen as a senior, and then she graduates. But that wasn't going to work for me because my plan had been thrown off by the Deltas. So I go back home and I realize I could run. So, me being strategic, I'm just like, well, I need to find out if a Delta is running because I'm not going to run against a Delta because that would mess up my chances. And I find out that no Delta is running for Miss Tuskegee University, which is very unusual because the other thing about this coveted position is that you want your organization to be the organization who has the bragging rights for the year, that the campus queen or the campus president or somebody in a leadership role is a part of our organization. So, but a whole bunch of people were running. There was an AKA running. There was somebody from the dance team, the Piperettes, which are very, very popular at Tuskegee. Somebody from SGA was running. It was all these really popular people running. All of them were juniors and very well known on the campus. But for me, that didn't have anything to do with me and my plan. I didn't even overthink the fact that I could fail at this. I just saw that I was eligible. So I come home and tell my roommate, who is equally crazy, who says, you should do it. He also add that this campaign process, like any campaign, costs money. You need
Mm.
to raise money. You got to do all these things. You got to, have all these outfits, go to forums, do all these things. Because, if you're going to get this coveted position, you're going to have to, put some hustle and some muscle behind it. So I decide, okay, well, I'm just going to ask all my friends, will they give $5? So when somebody would tell me they were supporting me, I had a little envelope in my backpack and I would ask them if they would give $5 toward my campaign. I'm talking about grassroots before Obama was even doing it on change.org. So
Right.
me and my little envelope and my friends with their little envelope, and we were very honest about the money, even though it was no way to get a tax write-off. We collected them little $5 and I had the most bare bones situation. If somebody would offer me something, I'd be like, hey, would you be willing to do my hair? Would you be willing to do my nails? You dress really nice. And I think we're the same size. Do you have something I could wear? Like, I didn't overthink anything. I put my name in and I just went for it. And here's the thing. If I had really sat down and thought about this, number one, it was outlandish of me to think that I could run for this role and win. That's number one. Number two, if you lose, okay, you could lose and actually be a part of the court, which is first runner up or second runner up. That means all the places that Miss Tuskegee University has to be at, you got to be there too. Except you don't get no scholarship, you don't get a wardrobe fee, you don't get none of that stuff. That never occurred to me. I never even thought about it. I thought, okay, either I need to win or I need to totally lose and not make the court. And I just, in my head, I just didn't even logistically think that out.
Mm.
So I remember sitting on this stage once on campus. We would have these open forums where all these students would be like on the yard and you would be sitting up on a thing and it was an open mic and people could just ask you questions of the SGA officers, candidates, and the Miss Tuskegee University candidates. It's kind of a student leadership role on our campus. I remember somebody getting up saying, so you've only been at Tuskegee for a year and some change, and you're trying to represent the Tuskegee experience. How can you represent the Tuskegee experience when you barely even have had the Tuskegee experience? And I just sat there for a moment and thought about it. And because that was mean, right? And everybody's like, oh, I'm like, well, my parents met at Tuskegee in the 60s. My grandparents met at Tuskegee in the 40s. And my great grandmother went to Tuskegee in the 30s. So, yeah, I think the Tuskegee experience for me is something that's just been sort of wrapped up in my upbringing. And I feel confident that I could do that. I can see why you would say that, but I don't think I'm like a person who just applied to Tuskegee and showed up.
Mm.
This is a long-standing thing for me. And the thing is, I did think about that I could not win, but I didn't think like logistically about having to be on the court and all the other stuff that would have gone with it. And if I had overthought that at all, or even thought, I wouldn't have done it. Now, the reason I'm thinking about that also is because people are applying to fellowship programs, residency programs, medical school, and I am constantly seeing young people revising their goals and their
Mm.
plans
Hmm.
because they have sat down and looked at the physics of the wings and they're like, this is not possible for me to fly. But they don't realize the bumblebee still flies, right? And some part of me wants to always hold on to that part of who I was. Because I've had a few, like, when I applied to medical school, it didn't occur to me what I would do if I did not go to medical school. I was going to be a doctor. And I was not, like, I was a good student, but I did not bust the MCAT out. I did not have, a 4.0 GPA coming out of college. But I don't know. It did not occur to me that I would not be a doctor. So I'm telling this story because I think somebody needs to hear this. It's okay to be pragmatic. I do think it's okay to be pragmatic.
Hmm.
But sometimes you have to just jump into stuff and maybe fail. It, it,
Yeah.
it should be a possibility, but don't revise your goals because it doesn't quite make sense.
Mm.
Nothing about that made sense. And, I won. I won. And to date, there has not been another sophomore to hold that position at the school. I think it was one of the first and only times that somebody that was a junior was Miss Tuskegee, and then as a senior was physically on the campus still while the new person was in the role.
Mm,
I hadn't thought about that.
mm.
And then I pledged Delta, and then I got into medical school, and I stuck with my plan and just changed order. I mean, we should think, but be careful about overthinking.
Absolutely. As a recovering overthinker on this side of the mic, I hear that story and like I'm touched by like the words that come to mind, which is things like audacity and ambitious and go-getter. And part of me is like, well, that's just not me, but I do recognize now in a state where I've been able to reflect a lot on my life and how things have played out. And I see kind of like our conversation last week where the ways in which fear has constricted me in some places. And really, it's a fear of failure. It's a fear of not being enough, constantly questioning, like, am I the right person? Like, do I have the right
Mm,
skill set? And to feel like the audacity to just like do it anyway.
right,
To
right,
stop constantly living in your head and just stick with your heart for a little bit.
right, right.
You have to allow yourself to be in that state because there's no way you're going to find out, your boundaries, your purpose, what you're capable of otherwise.
I think the thing I'm realizing is that sometimes we spend more time working out and envisioning what the failure will look like
Mm,
than
mhm.
what the triumph. So
Ooh,
it's okay. It's okay to be aware of like something and have a plan B. I mean, I don't necessarily recommend doing what I did when I applied to medical school because I literally had no other backup plan. I was like, you going to med school and then yeah, that's what you're doing. And I mean, I know there's probably somebody listening to this. They're like, really? Did she really talk to us about being a campus queen at a HBCU? But you need to this is a cultural moment for you to understand. It's a very, very big deal.
mhm,
Even your point in history and the history books of your school, holding that role. It's a very big deal. But
mhm.
I only could envision if I could fly. That's
Wow.
all I envisioned. I was living off campus when I ran for that position. And I was thinking about the logistics of me moving back onto campus into the Miss Tuskegee University suite because room and board was covered. And I was like, well, why would I let my parents pay for an apartment when I could live back on campus? These were things I thought about when I was running for this role. And when I was applying to medical school, I was thinking about the logistics of, well, okay, so when would I move? Will I be able to go home to California first? How long will I be able to stay home? I'm looking at what's the average time for like people starting their orientations. Well, like,
You
what's
were
legit.
already
Like,
there mentally.
I was there. I was
Yeah.
there. I was there. And again, now even I find myself most of the time when something happens and I succeed, I look back and I shudder because I think to myself, oh my gosh, if I'd actually thought about this, there is not any way. There is no way I would have done it.
Mm,
So yeah, I don't know how to get out of our heads, Ash. I don't know how.
yeah. Well, I'm working on it. I think one thing that's helped me recently, part of it is just a lot more self-awareness. I can feel oftentimes when the fear and anxiety is kind of gripping me or making me second think things. But, to your point earlier, I'm focused on the failure. And
Yeah.
then can switch that more like terms of like curiosity, just like, but what if I fly? Like, what if this works? What if I can do this? And
Yeah.
it's just that one moment can shift the energy for me.
And even when you think it through, it could
Yeah.
still not make sense. But it's not even enough for me to say to myself, what if you fly? It's the bumblebee still flies. It
Uh-huh.
still flies, though. Yes, this does not make sense. Like on paper, don't none of this make sense.
Mm.
But the bumblebee still flies. And let me tell you what is like metaphorically the same. A black woman, all right, a black woman whose father and mother are from Alabama had four kids before they were 24 years old, one of whom was born in Compton, grew up in Inglewood Public Schools, went to Tuskegee, went to Meharry, and then found herself in a residency program where she became chief resident, came to a place that did not give her an interview for medical school or residency, built an entire career, received the highest awards the institution has to offer, became a full professor, and is now talking to you on a podcast. If you had laid out on paper before any of that happened, it is no different than the bumblebee still flying. It doesn't make sense. The same can be said about your life and how you came up and how you and where you are now, living your full, authentic life. None of it makes sense. But yet, bumblebee still flies. So, yeah, you might fly, but it also might not make sense. And you might fly anyway against every single odd, against all the science, even the physics and all the, algorithms and everything. None of it makes sense. But the bumblebee still flies. That's dope.
Man.
Is that
Ooh,
not a word? That is
that
a
is a
word.
word. I'm about to look. Let me start this Monday over because
Right?
I got some goals I need to set
Yes.
out.
The bumblebee still flies.
I love that, sis.
It didn't get the memo.
Well, I know that was a word for me, and anticipate there'll be others who hear this and it's gonna hit home. So thank you for sharing that, Your Highness. Should I start referring to you like that?
Yeah, I still got a tight pageant wave too.
Yeah.
I can show you that one day.
Yeah.
I have to bring you with me down to Tuskegee
Oh
homecoming so you
man. Oh
see me
Lord.
walk around
Yes.
and flex.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, my sis. Well, it has been, as always, a pleasure to talk to you, reflect with you, and share with you.
Man, what a gift. What a gift this is. Thank you so much for sharing the space. I love it.
Put that on a post-it note. The bumblebee still flies.
Yeah, right. Put that on my vision board.
All right, sis. I love you.
All right, love you too. That wraps up this week's episode of the Human Doctor Podcast.
Special thanks to our favorite brother gastroenterologist, Dr. Chuma Obiname, for the beats. Shout out to the Dr. Ashley McMullen for editing and production.
Mad love to our podcast family at The Nocturnist and the Clinical Problem Solvers, our Med Twitter fam.
And especially shout out to all of you, our listeners.
Until next week, remember,
we see you and you are enough. Holla!